Todd DeLon,
Here.
John Exnicius,
Here.
Elizabeth Hollywood. Here. Chelsea Kesnick.
Here.
Kaylee Norton.
Here.
Cassie Reagan.
Here.
Evan Singer.
Here.
All right, approval of meeting minutes from August 16th, 2023.
They look like they're here.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 16th, 2023 minutes.
Second.
Todd DeLon,
Yes.
John Exnicius.
Uh,
Oh, wait.
Abstain.
Okay. You'll know your absences, I guess, for this.
Yeah.
All right, Elizabeth Hollywood,
Yes.
Chelsea Kesnick,
Abstain.
Kaylee Norton,
Abstain.
Cassie Reagan, Evan Singer.
Abstain.
Wait, you were here?
For last month?
Or
2 months
August.
ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I approve for August.
Okay. That is finally passed.
All right, next, approval of meeting minutes September 20th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Todd DeLon,
Abstain.
John Exnicius,
Yes.
Elizabeth Hollywood,
Yes.
Chelsea Kesnick,
Yes.
Kaylee Norton,
Yes.
Cassie Reagan,
Yes.
Evan Singer.
Abstain.
You were here for those meetings.
He was here for that one.
Oh, we were.
I was in Italy.
That was September.
Evan was absent in oh wait, no. I may not have what you all have. I don't, let me look at it. Where's
We-
September?
I have September.
If I was here, I approve it. If I wasn't here, I
Okay, you were
abstain.
here, so
Yeah,
you
you were
will,
here.
yeah. All right.
All right, approval of meeting minutes for October 18th, 2023.
I'll approve. Make a motion.
I'll second.
Todd DeLon,
Yes.
John Exnicius,
Yes.
Elizabeth Hollywood,
Abstain.
Chelsea Kesnick,
Abstain.
Kaylee Norton,
Yes.
Cassie Reagan,
Yes.
Evan Singer.
I don't know at this point.
Abstain.
You were not here. Okay, we do have financial reports now. Is it 2 pages? You can, well, it's 2. Take it out.
Take 2 and pass.
All right, so approval of the October 2023 financial report. Evan, is there anything you see that we should, Michelle, or?
Michelle, I'm deferring to you on these.
We did approve a loan for Luma, so you'll see that reflected on their payments will start in December. Otherwise, like I've mentioned, I think something that's come up in the past is just our property tax revenue. We see those checks at the end of the year, beginning of the year, so it hasn't quite come through yet. You do not see this reflected on there, but we did get a bronze sponsor, and I'll update you with that during my board report. Kind of seeing anything additional here. About it.
I move we approve the financial report from October 31, 2023. I'll second.
Todd DeLon,
Yes.
John Exnicius,
Yes.
Elizabeth Hollywood,
Yes.
Chelsea Kesnick,
Yes.
Kaylee Norton,
Yes.
Cassie Reagan,
Yes.
Evan Singer.
Yes.
All right. New business, design committee report, Cassie?
Okay, so the only thing we really have in Design Committee report today is the review of the Hammond welcome sign. So that's in your binder. We reviewed this at the Design Committee meeting, and we did not have any changes or anything. So, I don't know, do we need to vote on this?
I mean, it would maybe be helpful just to approve the design as presented.
Okay.
Is that a digital?
Yeah, there's a digital board that will be incorporated. You can see it better up here in the bottom left. There'll be some planting and,
Very nice.
It's located on the corner of Southwest Railroad and Coleman, which is where,
Before.
it's
Cage
where
Street
those
Seafood.
two telephone poles with the sign that gets tied between it. So this will replace that.
Because those are so lovely.
yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's really pretty.
So I guess I can make a motion. I make a motion that we approve the design of the new Hammond welcome sign as submitted.
I will second.
Todd DeLon,
Yes.
John Exnicius,
Yes.
Elizabeth Hollywood,
Yes.
Chelsea Kesnick,
Yes.
Kaylee Norton,
Yes.
Cassie Reagan,
Yes.
Evan Singer.
Beautiful.
All right. Next up is discussion of 2024 marketing plan. So Michelle and I met with Cassie and Amanda, actually, and we had a very constructive conversation on where our future attention and continued attention should be all year round on marketing. And they brought some ideas, and basically we need to kind of get a strategy and a plan that's more all-encompassing for the everyday benefit of our businesses downtown. So I'll leave that to you, Cassie, if you want to.
Right. So it's not just business, it's making downtown Hammond a destination. Destination for dining, for shopping, for relaxing, for whatever. What we found is the marketing that we're doing now is basically event-specific or farmer's market. There's very little that's just overall downtown. And that's just the way it's been for a while, so it's not like, it's just time to take a look at it and revamp it. I don't know that we'll get that done this year, but I want to challenge the board for 2024 to make it a priority, and let's celebrate what we have. I do want to throw something out there too, because I didn't realize it, and I've been here this whole time, not on the board, but in Hammond. When the events specifically, and I'm not saying this to get rid of anything, but when the events started, especially Hot August, there was nothing in downtown Hammond. There were professional businesses and things like that, but the places where the artists were empty buildings. There was no retail, there was no Red, White, and Brew, there was no, a lot of the restaurants that we have now. So when those started, they had a specific purpose, and that was to bring activity and focus and awareness to the downtown that was basically vacant. And it wasn't the thing that started it. There were people who were visionaries who spent a lot of money and time and effort to make our downtown what it is right now. But we need to remember when we look at things that we don't go back to what it was, what it started as. You know, what is it now? What does it need to be now? If we've got all these businesses and we've got all this, do we want to have things that might impair business, or do we want to change them, modify them, make them so that they support, promote, celebrate what we already have. So I wanted to throw that out there as a reminder, because I had totally forgotten. I mean, I remember I bought one of your dad's cousin's paintings at the Morgan and Lindsay building before Bayou Bookseller was ever there. It was just an empty shell of a building. So anyway, that's just a reminder for all of us that times change, and we can make it all good and celebrate that. But as far as marketing, I know, I spoke to Eloise at North Shore, and she said she'd even come to the next meeting if we want her to. She has thoughts and ideas on how we can use the money that we're already spending with them, and focus it on destination downtown, kind of destination downtown Hammond, whatever catchphrases we want to come up with. And then let events pay for event marketing. Let our overall marketing budget support what we have, what's downtown every day that we celebrate every day. And then let events be their own specific budget. Because what radio is going to the events that we have and farmers market. It's not just, we have in our contract covers being able to market downtown in St. Tammany, in Mississippi. We already have that. We just have to kind of change the focus a little bit of what we're doing to cover that. So those are just some ideas. I know the billboards, we've talked about this before. Billboards in downtown probably are not our best spent money. Our billboards need to be need to be places where people will see it and then drive to downtown Hammond. So I think we only have 2 in the Lamar contract right now.
So that was kind of a mistype on there, and if you look in there's 7 different locations, but they're all digital, and they rotate. So that's it may be printed in your packet. I don't quite know if it wound up in there as a full printed document, but I can send you this link. It basically allows you to look at all the 7 locations. Those 2 locations are their primary, but it basically rotates between all of them. But in my attempt to try to, I guess, alter our existing contract with them to get some of those other locations, it's not outside of their market area, but it would basically be incurring more cost. So whether we feel that if our money is not well spent here on these Hammond billboards, our current contract wouldn't cover seeing if it's worth our time to spend it on other billboard locations. Because they do have several other billboard locations in Livingston and Baton Rouge and LaPlace and Covington, Slidell. It was hard getting pricing from them, I guess, because we already have this existing contract. So I don't know if we just need to kind of start fresh with them and just see, this is what we want out of our relationship with them.
I think we need to go to them with what we want.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have 7 billboards in downtown, or not downtown, but in Hammond. Hopefully Hammond already knows we have a downtown and they want to come. But having one, we told you this in the meeting the other day, we have so many customers, and people come to our restaurants, our salons from Mississippi. So from Madison, Mississippi, all the way down, I have more Mississippi customers than anybody else. I have more Mississippi customers than Hammond customers. So, and that's not just me, because they're coming in, they're going to get their hair done, they're meeting their girlfriends for lunch, they're going to shop. So we need, there should be something for that. We should have something in St. Tammany. So people in St. Tammany, if they want to do something different, they can come over to Hammond. Livingston, we have people, more and more people coming from Baton Rouge, Denham Springs. A lot of people, women, come from Slidell and Baton Rouge and meet in Hammond to have lunch and have a girls' day. They go to the Aveda Institute and get services and hang out. So to me, our marketing dollars better spent letting people who maybe don't know about our downtown know about it.
I 100% agree. I think where I've spent a lot of time reflecting on this and doing a little research. Michelle and I have also had some conversations about this, but I think we are very comparable to Ocean Springs and where they're headed, and they are doing like really great things for their downtown and their businesses. And I see Ocean Springs signs, come visit Ocean Springs in a lot of places, and I think exactly the locations that you're saying are where we should target: Denham, Slidell, Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
Because we, essentially Hammond is becoming an Ocean Springs, a Fairhope, that type of feeling, you know. Michelle and I on this topic have also discussed the possible need for just a programs coordinator to essentially do the coordination of the marketing for these events, for the long-term yearly, like what we're doing for retail and what we're doing for other businesses. Someone that's just focused on programs as far as marketing campaigns and that type of thing, to really know where our dollars are being spent and that they're being spent in the best place. Because I would agree that we should probably reevaluate what we're doing with our money where for that. But yeah.
Well, I know Eloise also mentioned part of what we're paying North Shore covers ads in their magazines, both magazines. So she said we could structure that so a full-page ad is basically shared between 3 businesses, or we could feature 3 businesses in each full-page ad. Businesses, we could decide either help contribute to that page, or it just rotates, and you hit different people, different times of the year that makes sense, or groups of people or whatever. But they'll handle that. All we have to do is go sit down with them, kind of give them an idea. Hey, we'd like to, in this magazine, we'd like this full-page ad to focus on whatever, and they'll actually do the art, pull the artwork and stuff together. They may ask us for some photographs and things, but they'll pull that together for us and make sure it happens. If we tell them we want ads, you know, Mississippi, St. Tammany, whatever, we want to do it this many times, they'll handle it and manage it for us. So it probably wouldn't hurt to have somebody in the office who kind of oversees it all, but some of what we need to get done can be handled by the people that we're paying the money to.
I have a weird question. Gnarly Barley has a sign on the interstate that tells people who are driving by I-55 that Gnarly Barley is this way. Why does the downtown have a sign like that? Can we have a sign like that? We're a destination just as, I don't want to insult Gnarly because I love those guys. Obviously, they're friends of mine. But why not downtown Hammond as a destination on that sign?
A DOTD sign?
Yeah.
They pay for that.
Yeah.
You can get one, but you have to pay for it.
It's also, you have to be like, because we got an opportunity to be on it, and it's once a space fills up, or goes empty, yeah, opens up.
Okay.
But, I mean, there might be like a wait list or something.
Well, we have the biggest cross-section in South Louisiana, which is 12 and 55, and there's no reason we shouldn't have constant flow of traffic
Yeah,
coming to
I agree.
downtown, so.
There's also another advertising billboard company called Bayou Signs, if you want to look into that.
I just, like I said, I don't expect us to solve everything or
Yeah.
plan everything tonight. I'd just like to, I'm rolling off the board, so I would like to see it become a priority and get carried forward.
And I guess the other question too is if we're spending all of our money locally, which I respect and appreciate, with these guys over here, I mean, I listen to commercials on their radio from people out of town too. Are we doing the same thing? Are we spending our money in other markets that we want to attract people from to come to downtown as well? So these are just some questions that I think of.
Yeah, I mean, could we look into like what it would cost to be in Cape Craddock in the morning?
Oh, Lord.
But might be worth it, you know, it's a bigger appeal.
I agree. I think, to what you said, Cassie, we are definitely on the right foot, and I think that a lot of things have been happening that people aren't seeing that go on in the office and that are happening with the day-to-day, and that when we had our retreat, we discussed hard economic development being a main priority. And I think part of that transition into making that happen is taking what the director and the assistant director were doing and make sure we're restructuring those in the right places so that it's being taken care of by the right people. So I think this conversation is good. I intend on catching up before the next meeting and working on this a little bit as far as the marketing side of things so that we can really discuss it more at the next meeting.
I do also want to say that, I think marketing outside of Hammond is very important and crucial, but also we still need to reserve like a small portion because there is still people who are moving here who don't know that we've got Starry November and Hot August every year. So it needs to be a small percentage, but.
Well, and I would say from a marketing perspective, you're just sharing different content with your different
Yeah.
people. You're sharing, we still should market local, but it's different content. It's more specific content than what we're marketing to our
Broader
wider
audience,
range.
yeah.
So I think we just need to revisit that and what we're spending it on.
Yeah.
Well, and you can also have each event have its own marketing budget. So you have the overall budget that promotes downtown.
Right.
And then if you guys choose to move forward with events, then each one of those has its own budget. And it's, covered by sponsorships or whatever. But what's down here every day gets the lion's share of the marketing budget. And, something I want to point out too, our priorities are based on where our office spends their time and where we spend our money. So that's something at the board retreat for 2024 that y'all might want to take a look at, because if you look at time and money spent, our priorities are still on events.
Yeah.
And we've talked about, I know for at least the last 4 years, moving away from events, being event planners, and being more hard economic development and more creating things like our railroad park and making sure our infrastructure is good and, sidewalks are improved and we create a better place for pedestrians in downtown. But we won't ever get there if we still spend all of our, not all, but the majority of our time and money on events.
Anyone else? All right, so next up is the discussion of guideline revisions for Hammond Farmers Market and Artesian Market. I had this put on there just because, we've talked a while about the market has gotten big, and, now we have a market manager, and we've discussed, what that looks like going forward as far as, changing some of the things that are already in place. And Michelle is scheduling, I think, the first week of December for us to meet with the committee. Michelle, you want to take it from there?
Yes. So, as like John said, we've, capacity, I think this year has also just been a little bit of a challenge since we've got new staff and hiring, and really we kind of had fuller staff when event planning season in June kind of took off. So the beginning of the year was a bit of a challenge, but something that I have kind of had on the back burner for a while since I took over as the market manager in 2020. I've noticed that there's just some things that need some adjustment with the market guidelines. And, as we have moved to a different location, we basically are operating really, really differently from what our guidelines even say right now. So what you'll see in your packet is basically just a guideline revision list of the things that I know that we need to, that we already are enforcing, but we just need to adopt in our current guidelines. And there's a lot of technical details here because to run the market on a daily basis, this is basically pretty common practice for most farmers market, like this level of detail. I did I can send you links to the guidelines that we looked at with Red Stick Farmers Market and Crescent City's Farmers Market. But in general, just trying to do like a gut check to the whole thing so that we are starting fresh and can, not only make it easier for people to understand all the things, so it's like, oh, it doesn't say we need to serve safe, but it's like, well, we're already enforcing that because that's actually best practice, just hasn't been officially adopted. So anyway, you can see all those things listed there for already enforced that need to be officially adopted, and then the new items that are listed there as well. We are, since I know the board has discussed this a little bit, that's kind of why we're discussing it tonight, just to kind of run this by you all, engaging with the vendors and the Farmers Market Committee in December so that we can talk a little bit more in detail about these things. But I do think that everything kind of presented here is basically what other farmers markets near and close to us are doing. I know that there are some vendors here tonight who may want to share some things, but related to some of the new items that need to be discussed, the rental fees, which is something that we've talked about. We haven't had a rent change since I think the farmers market started. The earliest guidelines I saw in 2010. So it's been the same fee structure. And so, our market has grown significantly. We're offering new programs to our vendors, and I think for our market to be a little bit more competitive, honestly, with what everyone else is kind of doing, with all of our other markets that we also have in this area, we are significantly lower priced, and we're offering, much, much more than we have in the past that would reflect that. Additionally, you'll see too, insurance is something has gone around and around. The vendors don't currently need insurance, but is a best practice for that to be in place, as other markets require it as well. Licenses, so most the Crescent City Farmers Market and the Red Stick Farmers Market require an occupational license with the city they're operating in for them to operate their business basically in the city, even though it's on a part-time basis. And then in general, just kind of removing some of our health regulations. I think when these guidelines were first updated, wasn't really done with knowledge, I guess, of some of the laws related to safe food handling and regulation related to food products. So just kind of putting that in there so that we're making our market have a little bit more integrity and, that we are running more reputable market. So yes, I think all this is basically here for discussion. I don't want to give everyone a one-on-one on how to run the farmers market, but if you want that, I can certainly give it to you. So there's a lot of detail in here related to some of those things, but that's kind of just a summary of what you have presented in front of you. And you also have the existing guidelines in your packet as well, the current ones.
I just want to start off by saying that I think some of this might be a little discouraging for some of our vendors, but the way I'm looking at it as a restaurant owner, it opens up the doors for us to buy products from y'all and then resell them through our establishment. So just to put that out there.
I would also say, even though some of these might seem like hurdles, like the insurance might seem a little intimidating, it also opens up the door to vendors to have more opportunities to make money on their own products in other places, that implementing these things would
I'll
help.
also say too, about half, maybe a quarter of our vendors do sell at other markets where they already have this in place. They already have insurance. So our vendors who only sell at our market or they don't sell at a market that currently requires insurance, that will be something that they have to work through. But I think as we talk to the committee in the next coming weeks and then kind of come up with a timeline of, it's not necessarily tomorrow you're going to have to get this. It's kind of like a gradual kind of adoption, and of course we'll have a firm deadline. But I do think that in implementing these, I just want to state this, is that just having some sort of grace period, since it is a change, change is good, but it can be hard to get everyone on the same page. So just having some time to be able to adopt it and get everyone on the same page and make sure that we're taking care of our vendors. And, you know, because there's a mutual relationship, I think, between the farmer's market and downtown. And, you know, I know that we've are working on improving our allocations towards other areas so that, you know, the market not only continues to be supported, but we can focus on all of downtown. But I think there's a mutual beneficial relationship here, and these things will only allow the market to grow in the ways that it has already.
I recently had a company approach me and write an event management software piece. So if you're looking for something to sort of automate that sign-up, prepay thing, I can get that information for you guys as well too. And it's really not incredibly expensive. So if you look at it as for the convenience or the ability to manage that piece electronically without a person having to sit down and write all this stuff and take credit card numbers, that might be something well worth looking into. So.
Yeah, I think the financial component of that, since we're structured underneath the city, is a bit of a challenge. We don't have as much flexibility to we don't even know what our routing number or accounting number is. So we don't even have a Venmo account. So we do have, we are able to take online payments and someone can scan a QR code on our Clover device. But we're a little bit limited in adopting all of this efficient technology in that way. But I am, Laura, the accounting department head, I have spoken to her about just creating a separate account for the farmers market in general, since it's technically a separate revenue that the auditor basically doesn't have to, it's not tax dollars, so it can be allocated a little bit differently. Anyway, there's some ways that maybe we can parse out the farmers market a little bit more, so that, you know, it can kind of stand a little bit on its own in terms of, you know, not necessarily within the DDD's budget, but it still will be, but it still kind of administratively is taken care of a little bit differently, because right now it's all looped into everything that we have. And we're working in the city system, which is not with the 21st century.
Yeah.
So, you know, in order to pull, you know, some of this information, in order to have better closeout reports and all these other types of things, we're kind of working in an antiquated system. So as a part of all of this, and having the time and ability to coordinate build those new systems so we're able to work more efficiently is kind of what we're wanting to do. So if something like that could work, we would love to see it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Where are we at with her helping with that? Is it?
So last I talked to Laura, she basically said that it boils down to the city basically has one bank account for all departments. And so if they were to give us that information, they would be giving us all of the city of Hammond's bank information. So the way the accounting software works is everything's parsed by department. Everyone has their own, you know, fund numbers and account numbers. There's probably over 50 funds, and under each fund, I mean, just for us, we have 150 unique account numbers. So there's a lot to kind of digest. But in last speaking with her, working with our bank was to try to see if they could parse that out a bit more. She didn't necessarily say creating a new bank account, but if we're able to do direct deposits, then that would get us to a point where we can automate some of these things, just like how they do direct deposit for our paychecks. So it's slow. And the question, they're working through the audit right now, and I did ask the auditors about that specific question, and I'm waiting for basically them to get back to me, because since we are government held, all of the funds that we have they have to be audited every year, and that audit occurs through the city of Hammond. So if we were to make any changes to the way that our accounting works administratively, then we would be adopting a new workflow to potentially maybe have to do our own audit or do our own accounts. We already do our own accounts management, but do more of the paperwork, I guess, involved with maintaining of our accounts. So not a very specific answer that I have for you. It's just kind of at the whim of when kind of Laura is getting the time to really ask the questions and dig into the details, and I don't think she's really gotten there yet.
Change the subject just slightly. One thing that might be beneficial at the 2 meetings that you have coming up for farmer's market, the committee meeting, and then the next board meeting where this is going to be discussed. Sometimes people have a better feeling if prices go up, if they know what they're getting for their money. So it might be good to come to the next meeting with already, just off the top of my head, just because we went through this, $240 a month goes to radio ads for the farmer's market. We have billboards that are dedicated almost to the farmer's market. So it might be a good idea to come in and show, vendors for what you're paying in a booth fee. You have a dedicated employee, you have dedicated marketing, the facility, what we provide, everything, just kind of list it out, because the DDD as a whole spends a lot of money and time on the farmer's market, and we don't break even. We've looked at that before, but sometimes it helps if you know that what you're paying, you're getting all of this. The electricity, whatever the needs are for when they get there, they set up and break down. So it's just a thought.
Yeah. And I mean, when we talked about the increase, it wasn't significant. I don't even know if we talked about a number ever.
Well, you could see kind of a breakdown of some of the market rents that are in other markets. So, I mean, just near us, like there's a Ponchatoula Farmers Market, they are actually free, whereas the Albany Farmers Market, they're charging $35. Covington, Mandeville, there are certain ones that are still kind of at the rate that we have, but they don't offer the amount of programs that we offer. So, I think that we'll be able to kind of talk about this more with the committee so that we can kind of land on some of those more harder details. And
I think you need to add that to the list, though. The ones that are free or that are, minimal. How is it organized? What are the things they're getting for it? Is there advertising that comes with all of that? Those are just as important as looking at the programs that are associated with the market.
yeah.
All right, anybody else? Good? Upcoming events.
So this will be quick. We don't have anything in your packet for this necessarily. We do have Sorry Saturday this Saturday, so bring your friends and your family out. We do have some posters here if you haven't yet gotten it. We are getting everything together over these next few days, and it will happen. And I think the weather's going to be good, luckily.
It's supposed to be really
I
nice.
think it's going to be cool and crisp, so it'll definitely help with everyone coming out. One thing I will note is the day before is a big game at Southeastern with women's basketball, Southeastern versus LSU. So we are doing an additional radio promotion that will run basically through the broadcast that North Broadcasting does during the game. And then there's some tailgates, so I'm just leaving in some signage and just trying to make sure that people who are there, if they happen to be staying overnight, they know the event is there, and just trying to make the most of that captive audience. We do have a Thanksgiving pop-up market on November 22nd, so this is the third year that we've done this, and it's an opportunity for everyone to kind of get their grab-and-go items before Thanksgiving. And then we are celebrating Small Business Saturday on November 25th. We did get our merch and kind of swag giveaway items as a part of being a neighborhood champion in the mail. So we will be making that available to all of our businesses. We have some signage and there's some tote bags, and we'll be running some social media posts and those types of things to support shopping small throughout the holiday season. And this is kind of continued into the staff report, but that's basically general for upcoming events. And I know that this basically ties up our events, so quote unquote, season for this year. But as we do plan for 2024, I think, again, having a big conversation about these events and just really assessing, you know, the goal of some of our events. We did not do Picnic in the Park for this fall season. And so, you know, I think when we've spoken on Picnic in the Park in the past, it has kind of gone all over the map. So I think as we look towards 2024 as well, looking at our events kind of to our whole point in looking at the work that we need to be doing holistically is definitely a priority that I have, not only for us to be actualizing our mission more, but so that our staff are working a little bit more efficiently and planning more in advance. Early and often communication, I think, with everything has not been the easiest thing to do this year, and so would just like to make sure that we're able to do that. So folks that will be sticking around for 2024, I would like to discuss the board retreat in our December meeting so that we can kind of plan for that a little bit more. So anyway, just kind of wanted to mention that related to events.
Okay. Staff report?
So you have just some updates here. Like I mentioned, we some of this is the same from last time, but we do have a bronze sponsor now as part of our annual sponsorship package. So Ross and Wallace they're located just outside the district off of Old Covington Highway. You all might be familiar with them. So they are participating with us for Starry Saturday and are excited to be working with us for our events, and then also just to be a supporter of downtown. So we've been working with them on that. We do have those one-time sponsorships, but none of those have changed since the last time we've spoken. Gold and silver are still available, so looking towards doing some introductions in December so that we can have some of those meetings and engage with more of our folks to diversify our sponsorship pool. Board of Directors nominations, Mayor seat, Chamber of Commerce seat, and Eastside Property Owner seats are open, and those applications close on December 1st. So I don't have any submitted paperwork necessarily, but I've spoken to interested individuals for the Eastside Property Business Owner seat, and then for the mayor and the chamber appointed seat, they're diligently working to give us a list of appointees or nominees, and they are officially appointed by the council, so that will occur at the December 12th meeting. Any questions about?
I do have a question. So as far as the sponsors that have signed up for Starry or anybody that has signed up, do we know actually, are they just contacting us? Are they people that previously have sponsored every year? Or how are they finding out about us and what we?
Smile Doctors, Concord Family Dental, Career Dental, it's like they're all dentists, so I don't know if they just all see a business dentist and they're just competing with each other, but they're all local. Holiday Inn we've worked with in the past, but they're outside the district, so it was a good opportunity for them to kind of enhance their exposure. They were actually looking to get a vendor spot as we used to sell them with our events, and then I presented them with the advertising package, and that's how they got that. And then Fox Pest Control is actually based out of Mandeville, or the office is based out of Mandeville, and I think they just came to our website and are wanting to break into this area, this market, and so they felt like it would be a good fit for them to do that. Ross and Wallace, they called our office, looking to see how we could work together a little bit more.
With North Oaks, like where did we leave off?
We're still working with them on that. I think we'll have to do, we're still working on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No?
Okay. Just some project updates. This is basically all the same from last time, and I updated the design committee on some of these things. a change with some city staff is Whitney Statham, who was the department head of Parks and Ground. She's now moved to position of city beautification and special projects. And so there's a new director, there's a new department head for that department, which I think will help us in meeting our mutual goal of maintenance for downtown, landscaping, everything from trees to bushes to trash cans to the maintenance for Railroad Park, which has been a challenge. They actually were there today, and they cleaned up some of the landscaping that had died over the past couple of months. There was, and just kind of taking a look at that. So looking towards working with her a little bit more strategically so that we can have more of a sustainable, we know basically what the, not only policy and protocol is, but, who is picking up, how often are they going to be blowing off Railroad Park? And who's the person that we call if that doesn't happen, or what's the schedule for this, just so that we have more regular maintenance of these things in downtown. And so I am looking forward to seeing how that can be streamlined and all worked out. The gate and the fountain have been installed, although they're not quite operable just quite yet. So that has taken over a year, but it is working to a degree. We'll be launching the picnic table sponsorships next week. We had decided on a picnic table type with the design committee earlier this year. Really haven't had the chance to get it out there, but we will start putting that out there. The benches are coming in the next week. So last time I checked, and Roy and we last time paid for those benches to be installed, but in talking with Roy and talking with the city staff, I think that they'll be able to install them. So it's a good install, but it's cost savings a little bit for us. And there's also a paper installation with that too. So kind of a few other things. History exhibit panels has taken a little bit longer than I would like. ASI Signage, who we're working with for the fabrication, they sent us the shop drawings, which is like basically their final approval, our final approval of what they're about to print. They sent those to us last week, so it's taken a really long time for them to get those to us. And so I'm hoping that they will be, I don't have a firm installation date. I've been trying to get it out of them, and it hasn't worked. So I'm hoping that those will be installed before the end of the year. But related to the grant that we had for this, we just had to submit our expenses, and we had met the expenses to meet the grant. So even though they weren't installed during our grant period, it still all kind of checks out. So that's everything related to Railroad Park. I can't remember if I updated you on this last time, but we do have the sidewalk reimbursement program guidelines available on our website now under businesses, funding here with all of our other programs. And the projects that were upcoming that would be eligible for this, I've notified them of this opportunity. We have not received any applications yet. Other items, I know we talked a little bit about the design committee identifying the intersection improvement at Thomas and Oak for us to get some things moving related to that intersection improvement. I did meet with Lacey after our design committee meeting and talked to her about this program, the Transportation Assistant Program, which is through DOTD. It's basically a grant program for pedestrian improvements. All the things that we want to see kind of at that intersection, this grant could fund. The city does have experience with this program, and evidently in the past, it's just been really, really, really slow, so much to the point where they actually dropped projects and didn't even accept the funds because of this program. But I think they have revamped it significantly, and the reason why they're doing so much outreach is because the program hasn't been used year after year after year. So it seems like our next step, basically, what Lacey's recommendation was to sit down with her, the new planning department head, so we have a new city planner. I don't know their name and haven't met them yet, but I believe that they've either started or they're starting in December. So sit down with her, the city planner, grants department, just to see internally kind of what they're planning and kind of how things are kind of moving forward, since they've also had reduced capacity. And then once we have our kind of ideas together, then we kind of loop DOTD in and revisit everything with them. Because Lacey and I have already met with DOTD about this specific intersection. We met earlier this year, but we just haven't really continued the conversation past that. So some exciting things coming in the spring. So I think planning and making sure that we're anticipating all these things is a really important part of that if we want to make sure that we're maximizing, especially grant funds, that would be available to do really impactful work for downtown. Other advertising updates, Kaylee has so graciously worked with a lot of our businesses to do headshots. I don't know if do you want to give an update?
Yeah, we had to postpone yesterday because of the rain, but I did want to kind of explain this a little bit more as it has come to fruition. So this is part of a much larger project than just this season. Whatever businesses I'm able to get to in this season will happen, but overall, over the next year to year and a half, we are going to try to partner with Southeastern senior level comm students for 2 semesters. And basically what I'm doing at this point is photographing the downtown businesses as a timestamp as they are now, with the owners and inhabitants as they are. So I've been going to the businesses and photographing the owners or staff or whoever they choose to be there outside of the business, and then I'm trying in most cases to get them inside of the business in some capacity as well, kind of showcasing what they do in an artistic way. But the Southeastern comes into play because the senior level students are going to take these photographs and research the history of these buildings and businesses and even some residential spaces. And we're hoping to be able to partner with the Regional Arts Center and make a whole presentation of this for downtown to just really showcase where we've come from then to now in all of our historic spaces. So, but with the Robin Roberts things going on and everything with the comm department, they are really wanting to partner more with downtown and the DDD and be involved in our downtown. So I've been speaking with some of the professors in the comm department, and we thought this would be a really cool project for senior level students to work on.
Have you brought the historic commission in on it as well?
That is, once we get through the holiday season and the next plan, yes, part of the project will be for the students to reference the historic commission and see what is there. And
Yeah.
we have much structuring to do, but but it'll be a good start. And it is, my portion is just a donation, so but it's for the bigger picture of what it can do. And all of the images will be for sale to everyone else, but I am donating the images to the DDD to use for marketing. So any images of downtown businesses and business owners, they are going to be able to use for DDD marketing and promotions and advertising. Just to give everyone an idea, because some of that was a little probably ambiguous.
Fun.
Yeah, well, thank you, Kaylee. We really appreciate that, and several have taken advantage of it, so it's good. So, like I said, kind of for Shop Small, we did some small campaigns, not even really a campaign, just some posts last year for come to downtown. We've got shops, we've got restaurants, we've got parking. We did some posts last year, so I think we're going to just look at that a little bit more. To not only promote Shop Small, but build out some regular posts that we can do, targeted social posts through our Facebook and Instagram that, tell people to shop and dine here. So incorporating some of Kaylee's photos, but also just downtown in general, and just, support, give the greatest gift of the holiday season, support small, shop local. So we'll be building out, truthfully, I don't have, it's all kind of in my head right now. I have some of it written down on my phone, my notes app, whenever I can't go to sleep at night. But we don't have necessarily anything to show you right now, but we will circulate our plan for that via email, so you can just kind of stay in the loop. I will be continuing the Certified Louisiana Economic Developer Program. The next session is December 6th and 7th. And so that one is Leadership and Management of Economic Development Organizations. And this is about a 2-year journey. So I will be continuing with that.
And that's your second? Is that your second?
Mhm.
Awesome.
And we have I have a partial scholarship from the Small Business Development Center. And then we are going to be closed for Thanksgiving holiday. Obviously, the market will be, I don't know if those are the right dates. Are those the right dates? I don't think so, no. They're it's the 23rd and 24th. And then obviously, for Shop Small, the market will be going on, and we've done like a Shop Small kind of photo booth opportunity, celebrating people for shopping, and we've done scavenger hunts in the past, but I don't think we're going to be doing that this year because it hasn't really taken off. So we're just going to focus a little bit more on marketing and advertising for that all throughout the holiday season. So and then you also have a report from Savannah in here for the farmers market, our new vendors, some of our SNAP numbers, and then our plans, some of the additional activities that will be at the market this Saturday for Starry.
All right. Anybody? Ready to adjourn the meeting? Meeting adjourned. All in favor?
He's like, before anybody can answer.